Growth often gets lonely at times, but it can be very rewarding. But nobody prepares you for the part of it actually being lonely. I can take it back right now, right? Quick story. I remember when I tore my Achilles. I was a collegiate track athlete going into my last year, my senior year, and I think debatably, like I can really debate on it. Probably would have been my best race that I've ever ran. Running against certain people that I never ran before, new competition, and I was feeling good. Little did I know that I was being prepared for a change in a season. The seasons of me running track were coming to an end. The seasons of me being somewhat immature, right? The person that I was coming to an end, and I was coming to be a new creation. But God had to take something that I held so dear to my heart, that I held somewhat above Him, and it had to be taken away for me to be isolated and then grow upon that. But it was whenever I was running down the track and I didn't even realize that my Achilles was about to pop in the middle of a race. That then when I realized that, and whenever it snapped into my calf and my foot was kind of just dangling because it wasn't attached to anything, right? That pain and fire that was shot through my leg. But the first thought was, it's done. It's over. Now, not saying my life is over, my life is done, but whatever I thought what I was doing is over. God wanted me to focus on something else, right? Because growth creates distance. There's times whenever we are put on ourselves, we are put by ourselves, when your friends can't help you, your family can't help you, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend. No one can help you but you. God can help you. So the only things that you can do at those times whenever growth is distancing from you for everything else in life, you have to know that you within yourself can grow. You within yourself can change. You start to change priorities. You start to have less small talk because you want action in life now. You start to realize that there are other things in life that there is to achieve, other things to chase that will reward me in the end. Yes, I enjoyed my college time. Yes, I enjoyed running track. Yes, I enjoyed being that person in that season. And that was nothing else I knew. But little did I know that God had so much more, another world, another life that He wanted me to have, that He wanted me to talk to another community. That's why I started to talk about YouTube videos. That's why I started getting into content. That's why I started doing these things. It wasn't because I wanted to be a creator of content, but I wanted to be a creator of action, a creator to help other people, a creator to benefit others, not just myself. Because fewer people start to understand you whenever you're actually going through a growing process. Fewer people start to want to acknowledge you while you are in the growth process. That's why it feels lonely. That's why you might not be prepared for it, because you don't really realize that growth takes isolation. Growth takes distance to another level. Becoming separate, right? Before you know it, it actually promotes you. Because you become attached to the people that you are in life with. But if you are not meant to be in that life, then you must know that you must be separated at some point in time. This might just be a pit stop. This might just be a checkpoint in your life. But you might not know that, obviously. You don't know the future. But you do feel as if maybe right now, growth is separating you from the situation that you are in. That is a sign to know that maybe I must take action towards something else. But because you're lonely doesn't actually mean that you're failing. A lot of times we do not realize, but people will not talk about whenever they could be talking and laughing with everybody else, but when they get behind closed doors, those are the people that might fall and be depressed and have anxiety and not know what else to do and feel hopeless and feel failure over and over and over again. But you have to know that it's just a transition phase. What you realize is that what used to benefit you, what used to make you happy, what used to bring you joy doesn't bring you joy anymore. Doesn't help you anymore. Doesn't benefit you anymore. And it doesn't mean that you're failing, and it doesn't mean that you don't belong, and it definitely doesn't mean that you actually made the wrong decision. It just means that you are outgrowing the certain situation that you are in. Alignment removes noise, though. Whenever you must be aligned with something, whenever you are praying about something, whenever you are chasing something, don't be afraid whenever you're by yourself now. Now you have to follow that path and be focused long enough to travel on that path alone to find other people to join you. Yes, you will have friends down the line. You will have a family. You will have that spouse that you are looking for, that you are praying for. But just know that growth demands focus. And everything else in life will demand your focus until this point on. Everything else in life as we get older is actually serious. Whatever you want to achieve in life, whatever you want to change in life, take it as a serious thing. So when growth demands focus, when growth demands discipline, when growth demands something from you, don't take it as I'm failing. Don't take it as I can't do this. Don't take it as maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this. Take it as this is what the change that I want to make. This is what is demanding from me. So you know what? I got to pay up. I got to sacrifice. I got to give more than what I take. Lonely doesn't mean wrong. It usually just means different. It usually just means change. It usually just means separation only for a matter of time, right? Most people misinterpret what growth really is. Most people misinterpret a lot of things that are good for them in life really is, because you know what? Most things that are hard are actually right in your life. Most times the most difficult decision is actually the right decision. They think that something is wrong. You might think that you must rush back to comfort because now you're scared. You're out in the rain. You left your home of being comfortable and now you're outside in the cold. But sometimes you got to build your own shelter. You got to put the own clothes on your back. You have to earn everything that you want in life, because people abandon growth way too early. People abandon the breakthrough way too early. People abandon a blessing before it even gets to grow into the full amount that it's supposed to have, the full benefit, the full capacity that it can have for you and your life. Most people quit growth to avoid loneliness. The things that you are avoiding could actually be the next thing to push you to that next level, to get you to that next level, to get to grab you, right? Grab your attention and push your focus into the next thing. But people don't want to journal. People don't want to read. People don't want to, work out. People don't want to do the things that they know is good for them because they know it takes a little bit more effort. They know that other people around them might think that that's stupid or that's lame, that ain't cool. Who cares what everybody else thinks? Who cares what somebody else says to you? Who cares what someone's opinion says to you? Because if you die today or tomorrow, that opinion that you held inside of you, I promise you, that meant nothing. I promise you, do not live with regret because you let somebody else's opinion overshadow your greatness and your success for the future. Sometimes isolation just isn't punishment, it's actually preparation. Preparation comes in many forms and fashions. Preparation looks in very different ways. Preparation often doesn't feel good. Often takes more time than it actually does for the competition. Preparation takes double the time, triple the time, quadruple the time than it does for the competition. I was running for weeks and months just for me to run for a few seconds. Like I was training multiple reps, hours, right? Days and weeks of practicing and training, right? Just for me to run for a few seconds. Think about that. Usain Bolt trained multiple years, 4 years for every Olympics. He trained years just to run 9 seconds. Think about how that looks. So sometimes you're going to have to give up 5 years, 10 years. So then that 1 year that you have that breakthrough for the rest of your life. Yeah, you might have to work all through your 20s to when you get to 30. And then next thing you know, you living until you're 90 because everything that you did between your 20s and your 30s, you started to hit your 40s and then it benefited you. You can't always count on when it will happen, but you can count on if you put the work in, then it will happen at some point. If growth feels lonely though, especially right now, just know that don't run. Don't rush back to it. Don't leave your breakthrough. Don't leave the process too early. Don't leave your focus alone on that journey, on that path. Because whenever you run back and then you try to get back to where you were, it's going to be twice as hard. It's going to take more time. It's going to take more effort. And I guarantee you, you might not even want to do that. And if you're not built like that, you definitely ain't going to want to go back. So most people want to run back to comfort. Most people want to run back to their family. Most people want to run back home. And then whenever they actually have to grow, whenever they actually are forced to do something, whenever they actually have to go through something, they are not prepared. They do not have the tools. They do not have the resources. That's why we see people want to take their life. That's why we see people giving up. That's why we see people not wanting anymore and just going through the process and going with the flow over and over each and every day, wasting time. Just know that if it's not comfortable right now, you're probably moving forward. If it's dark right now, you're probably growing. If you feel as if you are giving more than you are taking, I can almost guarantee you that reward will come, and it's going to come to benefit you way more than what you sacrificed. And I bet you any money that whatever you sacrificed, you're not even going to think about it as soon as that breakthrough comes through. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me, man. Know that you are loved and blessed. Please like, comment, subscribe on the channel, and I hope y'all catch me on the next one.